All right, Cyber Traders, good morning and welcome on back here this Monday. Brand new start to the week here this Monday, August 22nd. And with that, there we go. We are now good to go here. Let me get a quick chat back for all of us on social media. Good to go inside the live trading room, though. Great to see John and Rob, who both made some good money just now on the SVRE trade. Great to see Rob and Kathleen and Egan and Ray and all of us, Norman included, inside the live trading room. Perfect and great. Like I said just before, great to see all of us on social media. So, folks, for all of us inside the live trading room, Rich will be posting the link for the Phase 2 stock course later on at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. We have a lot of trading to get to, of course, with this meeting to begin, but we are beginning the Phase 2 stock course later on this morning, right at 10:35 Eastern Time. So we're going to be talking a lot more about time and sales, the tape, and we could certainly use this SVRE trade as a great live example if it continues to run, and certainly if not, perhaps we'll go back on this trade, at least from pre-market. So the news out on this SVRE trade, I didn't even see any particular headline-worthy news on this stock. And that's all right. You know, we don't need to have a sexy, crazy headline out there for a stock to make a big move. It could just be a natural short squeeze. It could be day traders like us looking to just get a nice quick pop and squeeze up themselves. Whatever it is, there's something about this trade that is extremely interesting. I wrote it earlier inside the chat board for all of us here live. It was a little bit earlier after 8 o'clock. Do you folks recall what I ended up typing inside the chat board? And as I asked that, might I welcome Kevin and all of our new trial members just joining us inside our live trading room. I'll make a nice welcome message to you folks coming up next. I should have done that right away. But let me ask you, I'm so excited about this SVRE trade. Why is this stock even more interesting compared to the typical pre-market runner? I mean, hey, it's cheap. It's trading great liquidity. You know, that's good enough. But there's something else, folks. There's something else on top that leads me to be even that much more interested on this trade. Do you folks know what that is? We wrote it earlier, a little bit earlier inside the chat board. And Carol says a new IPO. Well, she's on to it. It's not that we like trade IPOs as much, so you know that's part of it. You know, it doesn't have much historical data, does it? Because it's an IPO. Well, when there's great momentum and a stock is breaking an all-time high like this is clearly doing this morning, you know, hey, right now this is trading at $4.82, but you take a look on the daily chart, this is all the historical data that we have so far. High back from July 14th, right at 417. So it's not just that it's an IPO, because there's IPOs out every day. We trade probably like the a very few percentage of them. But it's to say that there's no historical resistance on this trade. So with that, it allows the stock a much freer ability to run. So for right now, definitely SVRE, I'm going to put on our main watch list. You know, it's the top percent. It's number 2% gainer right now. I reckon this AKLI stock is technically the top percent gainer for right now, but this is like not even tradable, right? It's on 81-cent spread, $38 stock. You know, that's kind of within our price range, but for the move that it made in the after hours Friday, it's not doing anything here. So definitely for right now, this SVRE trade that we just showed, I'm going to put on our list. The AKLI, not yet. Like, it's a gamble stock, if anything. Quick little water break there. Now, let me get to Kevin and all of our new trial members. We have actually a bunch of new trial members that came in off of this weekend. So welcome aboard if you're new to our trading room. Just please do yourself a big favor and just call our office at some point today or at some point over the next day or so, and make sure that you talk to your education advisor. They're basically the middleman between you and Fausto, who would normally be doing this meeting. He's actually in Florida right now with the great Tom Busby and DTI Trader with their on-site course right there. But otherwise, your education advisor is the middle person, middle man, middle woman there between yourself and Fausto, yourself and myself. So they'll be able to show you where all of the recordings are that come with the trial membership, all of the Traders Talk workshop recordings that come with it. And alongside that, they'll just be able to explain the lingo that you see in the room. They'll be able to explain what's on the trading platform that you see there. So just make sure that you call our office at some point today or over the next day or two. Now, with that, though, let's get right to it. We have the SVRE trade already on our list. We don't have class right away at the opening bell, right? That's at 10:30. So we have a little time. Let's go through the top percent gainers and losers lists here. Market ended up slumping off in the after hours from Friday even, and continued to push a little bit into the pre-market this morning. So, you know, I'm not sure if we're going to find like so many name brand stocks that are up big on the gainer side here today, but let's get to it. Actually, with that in mind, there's a couple of stocks that are on the percent losers list here, name brand, and we'll get to those in just a bit. Also, a little dim lighting here. I don't know what's going on with that. We'll get that fixed. But for the meantime, though, SGFY, it's up over 40%. This one also has some pretty thin liquidity like the AKLI, but at least the spreads are like way more contained. So, yeah, for right now, the SGFY, I'll put on our watch list for right now. I don't have Benzinga up for this stock at least just yet, folks. For right now, though, let's actually pull out the matrix. I don't even have my level 4 open for this stock, but you could see that there's been a bunch of volume filled collectively off the 30 level. You would assume that because 30 as a whole number resistance is pretty significant. It's a decade level resistance too. So with that, it should be pretty strong, but the volume goes to show it, not just at 30, but also here at like 29.87. A lot of prints, a lot of volume getting filled there too, including the 75,000 share print that just got filled like probably in the last 30 seconds. So there you go. 29.87, 29.86 right here could certainly be a complementary resistance to 30 when the market opens up. The SVRE trade we already talked about, but that's on the way up to 5. I have my level 4 up on my other screen here, which I'll drag over right now. So just to show the level 4 for this stock, we already have this on our list, breaking all-time highs, only about 6,100 shares on the ask at $5. There could be more that comes about that level once it actually gets tested. But for the meantime, it wouldn't shock me if it just blows the roof right off of 5. The stock's trading about 117,000 shares a minute, and apparently there's only about 6,000 shares on the ask at 5. So, if it ends up testing that level, it should lead to a pretty quick initial break, but look for it to come back down after. That could be a big false breakout type of, setup. So SVRE on our list, the SGFY already on our list. And we'll keep it going. We had a nice call out timely for myself on the SMMT. We ended up seeing this big 85,000 share iceberg order pop up on the bid for SMMT, and we'll bring Bookmap back up for that. So it popped up, I think, even here to begin. I didn't notice it then at the time, this very faint but darker red dash. And then from there, as it squeezed up afterwards, it ended up moving its order up right towards 134. And you could see about 85,000 shares on the bid that ended up getting placed there shortly after 8 o'clock. It took it about an extra 5 or 10 minutes, and then this ended up breaking the higher high off of 142, and then from there made a terrific squeeze up. So this one ended up being a great pre-market runner for us early this morning, the SMMT trade. We ended up trading the stock also from last week, from the end of last week, from Thursday, right here. So what goes up ends up coming back down. And for right now, the SMMT doesn't look nearly as good as what it had looked like earlier after 8 o'clock. So, I'm going to write this down on our side list. I'm not going to promote it to our, main watch list just yet. If it ends up making the higher low, the support hold off of 150 a lot better coming up, then I'll reconsider. Let's see what else we got here. The XRTX trade, had an initial bounce off of 2, and that's why we had the stock on our pre-market watch list here. Ended up squeezing up from 2 up towards 219, 220. So John inside our live trading room, one of our members there, ended up getting, I think it was like 18 or 19 cents from that too. So for right now, it's just kind of flattened out a bit, slumped off. So this one, even more than the SMMT, I'm not going to be as keen to follow this one. I like the SMMT a little bit more than this, I should say. All right, MSPR. Now, this one has been teasing us for this, bounce across the morning here above the VWAP. The break over 265, 268, 265 is a pretty big support level that it broke from. So, with that was also the VWAP area. There's also about 10,000 shares at 270. There's also about 41,000 shares at 275. So there's a lot of resistance in a few different ways here on this trade. And for that reason, it actually makes me slightly less encouraged to trade this once the market opens up. It's tradable. It has a great spread, great liquidity. It's cheap. But, let's see if there's anything looking a little bit better right now. I'm going to write this down on the side list with the SMMT trade there. GRFX, I was hopeful for this to make a nice bounce from 3 after 8 o'clock. It's only been teasing us for that pop. going to move on from that trade. The Nighthawk trade, this one ended up making a nice run too. Hey, this one ended up pushing up shortly after 8 o'clock from like 275, 280, ran up nearly 50 cents from there. So it did a nice job for us early, but like the SMMT trade, ended up completely crapping back out the other way. I don't know if they're related. They're making a very similar move, those stocks, right? I am ignorant of the news this morning. So with that, I had the news up for the SVRE trade, or tried to, which I didn't see any headline for. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, if they're affiliated, then it goes to show that, there's not much momentum on this trade. There's not much momentum on the Nighthawk either. Maybe after the open, if we end up seeing, the higher lows build, the support, then we'll be more interested in the trade. Party City also, same thing on this one. Ended up making a great squeeze prior to 8 o'clock. Very timely call out from Mark at the time. But unfortunately, this one failed to break higher off 250. Same deal on this. Ended up, coming back down, at least for right now. We've done really well on Party City, though, the last, week straight pretty much on this stock. So, naturally, for as much as this did pump up day over day from the beginning of last week, it started to pull back. Well, there was another hope for a run higher, but obviously hasn't happened yet. All right, markets are down, UVXY up, and I don't know if it's up anymore from where I last checked in on it. So, listen, if the markets are really making a strong direction, then we're gonna, be more mindful to call out certain ETFs like UVXY or the Qs, or let's say if like gold or silver are moving really well in one direction, we'll be following that. Natural gas, UNG, and cold, the ETFs, we've been trading those at times, but nothing too particular. I mean, maybe the cold because it's trading a lot of volume, but you can't really apply level 3 to ETFs. If you have level 4, if you have Bookmap, it makes it a little bit easier, but it's still like very troublesome, very hard to try and identify the big volume levels. So you need to be very, experienced, rather, I should say, with using level 4. And yeah, the more that you happen to identify certain volume-based patterns, it becomes easier, even for an ETF. But if you're new to Bookmap level 4, I wouldn't really want you to be trading the ETFs just yet. I'd rather you have you find your groove on just equities first. A little bit easier to find the icebergs. Now let's hop over to the losers list here. I do have the news out on AMC. I posted that a little bit earlier in the pre-market once we had called it out. Grant had first called it out early on in the morning. Well, we ended up seeing the news out on AMC. So down 31+% pre-market, now even more. APE special preferred share dividends to begin trading on the New York Stock Exchange today. Also, potential bankruptcy filing of Cineworld having as also weighed on the stock. So a bunch of different news headlines out on AMC, but ultimately, if they're doing like a dividend, or if they're doing, let's say, a thing where they're adding more liquidity or adding more outstanding shares, it's going to dilute the stock price, right? Well, that also alongside the potential bankruptcy of Cineworld, which I'm not mistaken, I think, let me just double check on AMC here. That's CNK. Nope, I have to be thinking about a different company. All right. Well, looks like they might not be publicly traded, but Cineworld also, potential bankruptcy of one of their companies, AMC that is. So with that, big drop off early this morning in pre-market. It dropped off after 8 o'clock. If you're able to get the shares to short it, then definitely put it on your watch list. I don't really see like any fundamental reason as to why AMC should dead cat bounce really well today, aside from it just being a meme stock. Like if the Wall Street bets, retailers out there all collectively jump in, if the stars really align, yeah, AMC could definitely squeeze, but there's no like news-based reason for me to feel confident about, oh yeah, AMC is going to squeeze back up, 5 points today. So that's my 2 cents on AMC. Obviously, we ended up seeing what happened on Bed Bath Beyond. The Bobby J trade ended up dropping off big from the last couple of days. It started to make a nice bounce as a day trade off of 9 this morning, shortly after I had first noticed it, saying it was dropping off the AMC trade. It broke under and over back from 9. So nice day trade on that front. It would be it would be hard for me to not put them on our main list, just to put more focus on them, given how volatile they can be. And if the stars could align for AMC in particular, perhaps that could lead to a decent squeeze initially. When the volume dies off, these things are going to tank. So that's what you need to be really careful about on the AMC and the BBBY. but, you know, I'll put both of them at least on our main list for the open. GRTS, as we continue to go down the loser side for right now. GRTS not doing much of anything. It's pretty spotty, and it's down big, but here, not much, and just pretty spotty chart. All right, current time 9:15. Want to make sure that we have enough time to prep and line up our levels going into the open. I ended up shooting myself in the foot all last week. I gave myself like no time to do my normal prep work. I ended up lining up the SVRE trade and the SMMT myself before the market opened up, or before I did this meeting even already. So trying to remain one step ahead of the game. I want to make sure that you folks have enough time to do the same as well. If there's anything else up, down, left, right, more than 5%, folks, type it in the chat board here. That goes across social media too, Facebook Live, YouTube as well. Chuck says the chart on Rev indicates worth watching. Okay. I'm going to keep it on the side, Chuck. Not trading a lot of volume there. And the chart's making a lower high from the after hours peak there. So I'd be putting that on the side list for right now. Maybe after the first 10, 15, 20 minutes of the open, if we see more strength on that trade, yes. If it was trading a lot more volume in pre-market this morning, then I'd be more interested in following it right now. But after the after hours pop, then drop, it's not doing a whole lot for us here for a Monday. Grant says SVRE sure looks good here. So there's no need to build a big list, right? We got the SVRE, we got the SGFY, and you know, we have our hands full with AMC and Bed Bath Beyond. I mean, on any day, let alone when AMC is down nearly 40% right now, right? Type a couple stocks in, at least from Benzinga. I didn't have my news headline up, at least from earlier, but I got the scanners up. So let's jump to Nighthawk, NHWK. Looks like that started to make a small little push back up from where I last left off on it, and a big shake right back down. Oh, boy. All right, so Nighthawk, it wouldn't hurt us to quote unquote put this on our main list. It's trading a ton of volume still. Party City, you could say the same, even more on the XRTX trade. This thing looks dead. I'm going to pass on XRTX, that's for sure. Let's see what else we got. MSPR still teasing us for the break over the VWAP. Looking a little lifeless right now still, though, so I'm going to pass on that. I guess out of all of them, the Nighthawk is probably the most active out of those. So I don't mind slipping Nighthawk on our main watch list here. NHWK. SMMT looking still dropping off, I should say, not even looking flat. So I'm going to pass on this one right now, too. Norman says Nighthawk is shortable on TradeStation. That is good to know. You could say the same on SGFY, but SGFY is a thinner book. But good heads up on that Norman. All right, folks, before my tongue is tied, I got to make sure I jump off and get ready for the market open myself. For all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, any questions that you folks have, you're more than free to write me a quick email, josh@c2trading.com. If you're interested in continuing our audio commentary once I got my bottle of water filled up, then make sure that you go right down to the link on the blue banner below the stream right there to get yourself started. But for Grant and Norman and Chuck and Kevin, one of our new trial members joining us here, his first visit today. Again, welcome aboard to Kevin and any of our new trial members joining us for this week. Make sure that you talk to your education advisor. Like I'd said before about myself, you're shooting yourself in the foot if you don't call our office and talk to your education advisor. They're here to help and answer questions more than anything. So please do that. But otherwise, for Henry and Kathleen and John and Ron, I look forward to talking to all of us just here coming up once the market opens. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9.